Today, the NFL NASCAR Cup Series kicks off its inaugural season at the most prestigious racetrack of them all, Daytona International Speedway, hosting the first week of competition between these 32 teams, who will battle it out for 21 weeks to see who will be the Super Bowl 53 champs. Before the season gets underway, let's head over and check some boring rules because we're being forced to. So, yeah. The series is going to host 21 total weeks of competition as previously mentioned, with the first 17 for the regular season. Weeks 18, 19, and 20 will host the first 3 races of the playoffs, and then 2 teams in week 21 will battle it out for the Super Bowl 53 championship trophy. For those unfamiliar with the flags used in racing, here they are. The green flag waves when a race starts or restarts. Caution flags are thrown when an incident occurs that creates a disturbance on the track. After a few cooldown laps, the race resumes. Red flags are thrown for more serious matters, such as having the track blocked or needing extensive cleanup. Today, the starting grid was determined by a random draw. However, for the rest of the season, team starting positions will be determined by the inversion of the finishing order from last week. And halfway through each race, expect a caution flag to fly at halftime. This will let teams make adjustments to their cars for the final stretch. To win the overall race, well, it's pretty obvious. A team must cross the finish line in first over all other teams. However, to win a matchup, the team must beat their rival for that particular week to add a win to their record. And finally, qualifying for the playoffs. The teams with the highest divisional records claim their division championship and advance to the playoffs. But for those with lower records, wildcard spots can be obtained by getting those crucial overall race wins. So without further ado, let's go down trackside for the command to start the first race of the season.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention down trackside to the one and only Swaggy C as he gives the command today to start engines for the first NFL NCS race.
Alright people, listen up. We don't got much time. So, drivers, start your...
Well, that was just one of the smoothest commands I've ever seen be given by any human being on the planet. Well, we got all 32 engines fired up for today's race, and they will begin pacing around the track for their warm-up momentarily. And when I say momentarily, I mean right now. We're getting ready to witness something we've never seen before, folks. But before the green flag drops, it's only fitting to head over and check the Week 1 matchups. Boy, do we got some alright matchups for the first week of action. I believe we have 4 matchups seeing rivals face against each other. Let's start over at the top right with the New Orleans Saints trying to win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are trying to be the hometown heroes here today at Daytona, as are the Miami Dolphins. The Bears are facing off against the Packers at the bottom leftish part of the screen. They're pretty intense rivals. We also have the Browns and Steelers facing off. Take a wild guess at who's going to win that matchup in today. Kansas City will also be racing against Los Angeles. The Patriots and Eagles, who played in the Super Bowl last year, will play the Texans and the Falcons respectively. It's about time we get this inaugural season underway. Let's get going! Green flag flies in the Sunshine State. It's the Redskins and 49ers leading them off into the first corners. Now onto the backstretch. The Giants make their move to the inside. Now to the outside. Who's going to lead the very first lap of the series? It's the 49ers by a nose. And an apparent breakaway at the front of this large pack of cars, starting with the Chargers. That consists of 4 cars. Then, car hard into the wall and turn 2 on top of another. This will bring out the first caution flag of the race. That is the Raiders on top of the Miami Dolphins hood. And here in the pack, we may have seen contact with, may it have been the Rams, it looks like, into the Dolphins and hard head on into the wall of the Raiders. and nowhere to go for those other two cars. After that very early incident, we have two teams out of the race already, and the season just barely started. Those teams obviously being Oakland and Miami. The Panthers were able to repair their car, as were the Colts and the Rams, who somehow managed to also get damaged from that accident. Meanwhile, back out on the track, green flag is coming back out. The 49ers continue to lead. We now see Jacksonville making a surge to the front with reigning Super Bowl 52 champions behind them. Spinner in the tri-oval, it's the Titans. This one collects multiple cars. Caution is back out on the track. The Vikings are involved. The Ravens, the Bengals, and almost said Cubs, the Bears are also involved. And there was contact with the Packers, into the Titans. That turns them into the Vikings and the Bears. The Patriots get air off the Titans' nose, and holy cow, that was a huge hit on the outside wall by the Vikings. Lions just barely get by on the inside, as do the Cowboys and the Cardinals. But in the end of it, 5 cars in total will not be able to continue on for the remainder of this week. Most notable of these is obviously the New England Patriots. With them out of the race and the Texans still in, their first matchup is going to end up in a loss. The Bears, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Vikings are also out before it's all said and done here in Daytona. Multiple other cars also received damage from this accident, but they were once again able to repair those and will soldier on. Now we're seeing a potential lead change here. The Jags dive to the inside of the 49ers, and the Buccaneers dive even lower. Trying to be hometown heroes today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to surge to the lead on the back. The 49ers and Jaguars fall back on the outside. We got a car crash here in turn 4. That's the Tennessee Titans once again. Caution is back out here on the raceway. And this replay is going to indicate the Titans blowing a left rear tire into the wall. Back into it. That is substantial damage on that car. They're going to be out of this race. Another new leader here in Daytona, it's the LA Chargers. This is probably the wildest this pack has been all day. 3 wide, pretty much through the entire field on back. Now only 3 laps remain, and contact in a round, an even bigger one in the tri-oval. We have a team on their side here, and that's Tampa Bay. It's a traffic jam here at Daytona. This is going to end the first half of the race. And let's check the replay of the second big one here at Daytona. It was contact with the Bills, as you barely saw in the angle there. That turns the Saints into the Panthers, who turn the Colts, who turn the Buccaneers. The Saints get on top of the Chiefs. An ugly accident here at Daytona. The Broncos are turned to the inside wall by the end of it. And then these cars, the track is completely blocked. Nowhere to go for these cars. They all have to stop to avoid just plowing into there like a bunch of idiots. So much more cars out of the race now. I believe there are only 17 cars left. This wreck claims the Denver Broncos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Indianapolis Colts, Kansas City Chiefs, Jacksonville, the Los Angeles Rams, the New Orleans Saints, and Pittsburgh Steelers as well. We're learning very quickly that this is going to be seemingly a very atrocious sport. Car turned into the wall in the backstretch. That would be the Redskins. Caution flies once more. That is severe damage. They will likely be out of the race. And through the apex of the corner has been... The Browns are spinning it up into the pack. They collect the Atlanta Falcons and Buffalo Bills. Caution waves yet again. There may have been contact with the car behind that sent the Browns around, and I believe that was the Atlanta Falcons, and indeed it was. They spun the Browns to the inside of the track, and carrying that amount of speed, they're going to slide back up. And wow, big hit on the Browns. Seahawks and others able to scoot by on the inside and avoid this melee. Chargers have to stop to avoid the accident, but they'll be able to continue on. Only 12 cars left in this pack, but the action has not decreased one bit, as we are 3 wide through every single row of cars. And the Eagles desperately trying to block, but they leave the door open. Here come the Seattle Seahawks to the outside with a big run to contend for the lead. New leader at Daytona, Seattle. It's all boiled down to these final 2 laps in the Sunshine State. The Chargers and Eagles are on a mission to grab that overall win, but don't look now, the Packers are making a move to the front on the outside. They were damaged in an earlier accident. 4 wide through the pack. The Chargers come back to the outside, and the white flag is in the air. Final lap here at Daytona. The Seahawks aren't giving up, nor are the Eagles. Coming off of turn 2, Seahawks trying to block. And they're going around in the pack, the Giants among them. Meanwhile, 3 wide for the lead. Will it be the Chargers or the Seahawks? Look at the Packers to the inside. 3 wide at the stripe. And I have no clue who just won this race. 4 cars involved on the accident on the backstretch. We're getting word the Green Bay Packers somehow pulled that off. Here is the photo finish. Oh my word, that is 12 ten-thousandths of a second right there, boys. Wow. You aren't going to get a better finish than that in this series probably for the rest of the season. Boy, they just edged him out by like a quarter of a nose, quarter of a splitter. That is unbelievable. Here are your Week 1 results. Defending Super Bowl champs, the Eagles pull off a victory in their first week. The Patriots shockingly couldn't win their matchup. And meanwhile, the Browns win against the Steelers somehow. I don't know how that happened. And boy, have we done something right with our playoff system though. The 49ers were strong all day, come home with a win. We never really mentioned the Jets at all today. They went over the Lions, who wrecked early on. But the big story here, the Packers nabbing the overall win today, as all their rivals lose their games. Cannot get off to a better start to the season if you ask me. That was only Week 1, everyone. We have our second week of competition in Arizona, so tune in next week for another thriller. I'm Cater Johns, awkwardly waving goodbye from Daytona.